has come in. But we are now going to shift focus, and this is really embarrassing, which has left many in a state of shock, especially as far as the international community also goes. And this is regarding the ongoing World Para Athletics Championship in Delhi. Now, two coaches who are training during the event were bitten by stray dogs. This has happened at the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium. The Kenyan and Japanese coaches were bitten by dogs inside the stadium. However, both are now out of danger, currently recovering in the hospital. The organizers, of course, have taken center stage. They've released a statement where they informed the fans that the two injured coaches were attended to immediately, after which they were taken to a Safdarjung hospital, and maintained that incidents are standalone, caused by individuals feeding the stray dogs near the event venue. But it has thrown up multiple questions. That what was the point of the Supreme Court stricture, which doesn't seem to be followed? And second, would this be acting as a deterrent as far as holding of international events in our country is concerned? Well, the Congress Member of Parliament from Shivaganga, Karti Chidambaram, has already raised a concern over the continued stray dog attacks at India Stadium, pointing out that nothing seems to have improved despite a Supreme Court verdict. He says that we want to host Olympics, but nothing has changed on the grounds since the Supreme Court verdict on the street was taking place. Okay, so this is where Kirti Chidambaram is now joining us. Thank you very much for speaking to us. First of all, we saw that post on the social media where you spoke about how can we hold the Olympic Games. Do you think these kind of incidents will become a deterrent? You think it's deeply embarrassing for us?
It's not only embarrassing, it's a serious health and safety issue. Nothing is changed on the ground. I mean, we've been speaking about this for many years now. Our street dog population has gone out of control, and they are attacking people. And we are recording 10,000 dog bite cases every day. It just happened that there were some international visitors who gotten bitten this time, but 10,000 people are bitten every day. We have the highest instance of rabies deaths. And while an initial judgment of the Supreme Court was opposed roundly by many people who are animal lovers, I understand their point of view. Then a subsequent judgment has been given by the Supreme Court, but nothing has changed on the ground. I mean, it's been 2-3 months since that judgment has come. Can anybody show me statistics to say that dog bites have gone down or rabies cases have gone down? Nothing has changed. No resources have been allocated. None of the local bodies who are given this mandate to control the stray dog population have the resources, the manpower, or the know-how. So it's business as usual. Nothing is going to change, and people are going to get bitten, people are going to get rabies, and people are going to die.
Okay, we are already seeing plenty of reactions which are now coming in from the coaches, and they're saying that it's a very, very serious matter. I mean, with regard to deciding the venue for Olympics, and you made a reference to that also, you think this incident could be seen as a black mark?
Yeah, I personally oppose conducting the Olympics in India. It's a vanity project. Our historic habit of usage of stadia is very, very poor. We build large stadia and we never use it again. I personally don't think we should hold the Olympics. I have very strong arguments on why we shouldn't hold the Olympics. And of course, this is an embarrassment. I'm sure when the International Olympic Committee meets to choose the venue, they will look at all these factors as well. But this is not the only reason why we shouldn't host the Olympics. There are other reasons why we shouldn't host the Olympics. We should rather be spending the money on developing grassroots infrastructure and on coaching facilities and broad-basing sports. And we shouldn't really get into Olympics. We are a very poorly performing country in Olympics. Unless we improve our standing significantly, we shouldn't be aiming to conduct the Olympics at all.
You know, there is a huge divide and a polarization. There are people who felt very strongly about the stray dogs issues. There were candlelight marches which were held on. That's also become a powerful and aggressive issue. Then is it a wake-up call for now those who are defending the idea of letting the stray dogs be and feeding them in public?
No, I don't think any wake-up call is going to happen. I think people are very set in their views. Nothing is going to change. No modern country has the street and stray dogs. So we are the only country which seems to be aspiring to be a global leader and continuing to have a stray dog problem. Unfortunately, I don't think anything is going to change because there is no will to change, no resources to change, and no wherewithal to change.
Yes,
I'm very pessimistic about it.
Well, thank you very much, Karthi Chidambaram. One can understand the pessimism considering the fact that it is a Supreme Court stricture, but nothing seems to change on the ground. But will it? That's where Anshul is now joining us. Anshul, I know those two coaches were admitted, they are recovering. There is going to be a lot of agitation about it, but what about the fact that the Supreme Court's policies or strictures, observations have still not been implemented on the ground? Could you pick up something from your sources?
Well, yes, the Supreme Court had given this order that all the stray dogs should be removed and then be put back to a rescue center. But what happened eventually, we saw those massive protests broke out in the national capital, post which the entire ruling was somewhere or the other toned down a bit, where the Supreme Court said that these dogs should initially be vaccinated before letting them out on the streets. But yes, there are more than 1 million dogs on the streets of the national capital, and it is a very uphill task for the Municipal Corporation of Delhi to go ahead and vaccinate, identify each and every dog, and then leave them eventually to the location where they were picked up. This is a huge mechanism that needs to be put in place, and that will definitely take some time for the MCD to do. But in the meanwhile, the menace out here in the national capital continues. Yes, it has yet again made headlines because international coaches have been bit by stray dogs, but the number of stray dogs incidents has not gone down in this year. In this year itself, more than 25,000 people have been bitten by dogs only in the national capital and the NCR region itself, which clearly points out towards that how big a menace is this. But definitely there is no solution per se in sight at this point in time, because because even after the Supreme Court's order, we saw the kind of backlash that happened, and that eventually resulted in lowering down or somewhere or the other cooling down the entire order that was given by the Supreme Court. So yes, it remains to be seen now, after this incident has happened, will any action be taken by either by the courts or most probably by the Indian Olympic Association, because they will have to look into this. How are dogs being allowed to stay inside a stadium when an international tournament is going on? This is something that is very, very shocking and embarrassing for the Indian Olympic Association at this point in time. Yes, blame is being shifted to the people who were giving them food to these dogs, but how were these dogs allowed to stay inside the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium at a time when such a big tournament is going on, an international tournament is going on? This is a big question that needs to be answered. Also, there is this need of an overarching law in this entire case as well, because if a domesticated dog actually goes ahead and bites anyone, then the onus will be on the owner of that dog. But what happens when a stray dog bite anyone? Who is responsible for that? This is something that has not been taken care of by the law, and hence an overarching law is something that is a necessity at this point as well. So yes, it remains to be seen, after this embarrassing incident that has happened in our country, will there be some new laws that will be put in place, or some new modus operandi that will be put in place, which would at least ban stray dogs inside stadiums, specifically at a time when international tournaments are underway.
Okay, thank you very much, Anshul, for putting all of this into perspective.